What up YouTube? Welcome back to my channel and welcome to our honeymoon Croatia travel vlog. Adam is really happy to be here. Last Friday, Adam and I went to Italy to get married. We left on Friday, had about 6 very crazy days in Tuscany and celebrated with all of our friends. We got married at this beautiful abbey last Wednesday and are coming off this whirlwind of wedding celebrations. In total, there was about 6 days of it. So we're really overstimulated and a little overwhelmed with all the love that we received, and we went to Rome yesterday, caught a flight to Split this morning very early, and then took the ferry from Split to Hvar. So we just landed in Hvar today. We're actually off an island of Hvar, staying at Zori Timeless, which is this beautiful luxury hotel here. So our plan is to stay here for the next 3 days or so and just relax, explore the island, melt into my sun chair, and process all that just happened this past week with the wedding and send some thank yous out. And then in a couple days, we'll be heading to Dubrovnik to do a sailing tour, which I am so excited about because I love sailing. But for now, we're just gonna enjoy this amazing view, eat a lot of delicious Croatian food, and party a little bit. Clearly he's in the mood. You're my husband. Show them their ring. Ooh, look at that. So let's rewind a little. Shortly after we got off the ferry in Hvar, a private boat came to pick us up and bring us to the hotel. Since we had arrived earlier than expected, our room wasn't ready, so we were invited to take a seat at their beachside restaurant. Cheers, honey. Breakfast and dinner were included in our half-board stay at Zori, as well as all the food, coffee, pop, and water in our minibar. All we had to pay for in addition were our alcoholic beverages. By the time we finished lunch, our room was ready. Zori Timeless is a boutique hotel with only 4 villa-style residences. Our 1-bedroom suite was called Cloud for its rooftop pool with jacuzzi, which easily became our favorite spot to lounge and relax during our stay. I had a dream last night. Awaiting us in the room was a beautiful bottle of sparkling wine and a plate of freshly baked cookies, compliments of the hotel on our honeymoon. As the day started to come to a close, Adam and I drank the bottle of bubbly on our rooftop terrace before heading down to the beach for a quick sunset dip. Never seen her like this, didn't think it existed, no truly. Don't get in her way, she's not here to play, she'll get moody. So there's a wedding going on next door, and Adam really wants to crash it.
Don't crash it.
Are we gonna go crash it?
5-day rule. You can crash any wedding within 5 days of your own wedding. That's the rule.
Is it?
Pay it forward. Pass it on.
Just
pass it on and double it.
Drop a couple €100 in their card box and
throw a couple €100 in there, whatever.
The food at the hotel was fantastic. The best we had on the entire island, in fact. The menu was full of delicious seafood and creative interpretations of otherwise classic dishes. During our stay at Zori, we had a member of staff, Mr. Martin, looking after us exclusively. He would organize activities for us, recommend us dishes based on our likes and preferences, and made sure we had the best possible stay. No little detail was overlooked, and Mr. Martin made sure that we never left a meal hungry or wanting for anything. He also made notes of what we enjoyed the most, like the whole grilled fish for me, so he could make sure that the kitchen always had one available for me for dinner. The next day, Adam and I got up early and had a full breakfast before heading out for a casual hike. Mr. Martin had told us about a rugged walking path that takes you to several bays from which you can swim and admire the view. Desperately in need of a little exercise after weeks of excessive drinking and eating, Adam and I packed a bag and headed out on a little adventure. What an incredible swim.
I'm gonna lose all that pasta weight.
Yeah? I need to put in a couple more swims for that. That night for dinner, Mr. Martin recommended we try the tasting menu, which was also included in our stay. So of course, Adam and I happily obliged. Good morning. So Adam and I just finished another incredible breakfast at the hotel. They made us these special poached eggs with this trumpet mushroom brioche bread. It was so good. But today is our last full day here at the hotel and on this island. So we decided after breakfast to go for a little walk in the opposite direction that we went the other day, which took us to this really cool marina and continues on. Started off really paved. Now it's pretty wild and rustic, just rocks leading the path. But we do have a massage in a half hour, so we can't go on too long of a hike. But still have another fun-filled day ahead of us, so probably get in some more paddle boarding and enjoy the beauty of Croatia. Beautiful. Our last day at Zori was spent soaking up all of the luxury. From here on out, we would be roughing it in comparison to the lavish experience we had at Zori, so we made sure to make the most of our last day there. For dinner that night, Mr. Martin brought out all of our favorites, including the black trumpet rice risotto topped with tobiko and whole grilled fish for me. My mouth still waters. Sad to leave, but looking forward to our upcoming sailing adventure, Adam and I headed to Hvar to catch our ferry to Dubrovnik. So upon arrival in Dubrovnik, we went straight to the docks to board the catamaran we would be sailing on for the next couple days. Once settled into our nice and clean cabin, we headed to the upper decks and got acquainted with the crew and other guests. Unfortunately, there wasn't much wind, so we couldn't do any sailing, but we did make a pit stop for a swim in a little cove on the way to our first island. That evening, we would be docking in Sipan, a small inhabited island 17 kilometers northwest of Dubrovnik. The crew had arranged a reservation for dinner for all of the guests, which made settling into the evening quite effortless. Actually managed to find a decent cappuccino in this beautiful little town. So Adam and I are just getting up from our first night on the boat. What do you think, honey?
Different.
Could you do a boat life? Did you sleep well?
I can do boat life, yeah.
You could? Oh my god, I woke up a million times, but
It wasn't a deep sleep, that's for sure.
it wasn't. But we're having fun. Yesterday, sailing and jumping in the cove was really nice. And the dinner was spectacular. I got a scorpion fish, which I've been dying to have since we got to Croatia. So that was really a nice surprise. And it's 7 a.m. here right now. We just wanted to go to the market quickly, grab a couple more things for the day because we head out at 8. The first place we stopped on the way to that day's activity was Projuska Luka. We had an hour to swim, paddleboard, and explore the surroundings before continuing on. After about an hour of motoring, we finally arrived at our destination, Palaci village of Mljet Island. Not only would we be docking here overnight, but our skipper and guide had organized an e-bike excursion for us too. About 40 minutes in, Adam and I broke away from the group to do our own thing. We ended up finding a little pathway to the water's edge where we could swim off of and post up for a little afternoon snack. Dinner that night was at another amazing restaurant arranged by our skipper called Konoba Antika. The food was phenomenal, plentiful, and typical of traditional Croatian dishes. Finally, on our last day on the Cat, we had some strong enough winds to put up the sails. Originally, the plan was to head to Pilisac Peninsula for some fresh oysters, but given the fact that there was a big storm heading our way, our captain decided to head back to Sipan to dock and take refuge. Between rainstorms, Adam and I did manage to go on a short hike on which we came across a beautiful olive tree grove. Sweaty from both the hike and the humidity, we headed to the beach bar for a quick swim before another huge storm rolled in for the night. The next day, we departed Sipan early and headed to Lopud, the last stop in our catamaran sailing adventure. Since we only had an hour and a half to check out the island, Adam and I walked the main esplanade before settling down for a bite at Opala. I think they knew we were coming because the first thing they did was show us a platter of fresh fish. What do you think, Adam?
Well,
Sensational. Feeling so refreshed after that nice hot shower. Adam and I landed back in Dubrovnik this afternoon, got off the boat and went straight to our Airbnb. I had to take a nice hot shower because after 4 days at sea, my hair was just one big matted knot. So I just finished doing a hair mask and I feel very nicely refreshed. And it looks like Adam's outside enjoying a beer and our spectacular view. We're staying at an Airbnb just above the old town, so it actually gives you like the perfect panoramic view of the old city. So I think I'm gonna go out there and join him, and then we're gonna head down to the old town and go to dinner. We don't know what the weather's gonna be like tomorrow. It's not looking good, so this might be our only chance. So I'm really excited to just venture around and check it out. Adam and I were so excited to explore the old town in Dubrovnik. We were both really into the Game of Thrones series, so we were excited to see what King's Landing in real life was like. We quickly learned that Old Town Dubrovnik is one of the most popular tourist destinations in the world. Even at night, the old town is packed, and finding a good restaurant to eat at without a reservation or massive line was difficult. After a few failed attempts, we eventually settled in at a small sushi restaurant before grabbing some gelato at Aroma and calling it a night. The next day, Adam and I got up early and made our way back to the Old Town as things just started to open. Hoping to beat the tour buses and swaths of people that come with them, Adam and I spent a good part of the morning walking the wall around the town. After walking the wall, Adam and I were feeling hungry. We had plans to go to a specific restaurant for lunch, but since it wasn't open yet, we snacked on some burek and fruit from a local market we found while wandering around.
Right.
Finally, it was time for lunch. Adam and I headed up to the top of the walled city to Lady Pee for some grilled fish and meats. The food was really good and actually fairly priced for Old Town standards, and it easily turned out to be one of our best meals while in Dubrovnik. After lunch, Adam and I headed to Buzabar. Located on the side of a cliff and only accessible through a hole in the wall, Buzabar is a great spot to escape the crowds and enjoy views of the Adriatic. After a couple hours, another big storm began to roll in, so Adam and I took the opportunity to head back to our Airbnb for a quick refresh before dinner at Dalmatian Dubrovnik. All things must eventually come to an end, but before we headed to the airport, there was still one last thing Adam and I wanted to do: visit Lokrum Island. A quick 20-minute ferry ride from the Old Town Harbor, Lokrum is home to a Benedictine monastery where you will find and can take pictures with the famous Iron Throne. It also features a sprawling botanic garden and secluded salt lake. It is also home to about a bajillion peacocks which roam the island freely. Thank you so much for joining Adam and I on our honeymoon to Croatia. If you want to take note of some of the restaurants and activities we shared in this video, feel free to visit the blog post that accompanies this video by clicking the link in the description of the video. All right, take care and see you guys again soon. Bye!